Hello, and welcome to the newest installment of North Central Cinema. I'm your host, Joseph W. Smith III. Call me Joe, please. And as your host, I can't believe I'm about to do this, but today we'll be talking about the British director, actor, and writer Sir Kenneth Branagh for a third time in a row here at North Central Cinema. And what happened was, a couple of sessions ago, we talked about his latest film, Death on the Nile. And with that, I sort of realized that he was having a cultural moment. He's also got this movie, Bellfast, that's been nominated for a slew of Academy Awards. And so on the most recent installment, I simply did a tribute to Sir Ken and his career. And then I thought, I probably ought to watch Bellfast. Not only do I love Kenneth Branagh, and Academy Award season is in full swing, but it was right around the corner from St. Paddy's Day when I decided to watch it as well, and I loved it so much that I thought I would spend this entire segment just telling you a little bit about it and plugging it some. Bellfast is a 2021 film. It has been nominated for 7 Academy Awards. And that would be Picture, Director, Screenplay, 2 Supporting Actor categories, Best Original Song, and Sound. Personally, I think it also should have been nominated for Editing and Cinematography, but we can talk about that more later. Sir Ken is not in it, but he directed it, wrote it, and produced it. And so he is up for 3 of those Academy Awards because the producer is the one who takes the Best Picture award should it win. It is Sir Ken's memoir about his childhood in Belfast, particularly in 1969. He did grow up there. And the most important thing to say about Belfast is that it's got a little something for everybody. It's got comedy, it's got action, nostalgia, it's a coming-of-age tale, it's got young love, it's got a portrait of lifelong love, little something for everybody. The nostalgia thing really hit me hard because Brenna and I are the same age. We were both born in 1960. And so he's got all this late 60s stuff going on. He's got snippets from Star Trek. He's got this great old rock tune called Everlasting Love, which was done by the band Love Affair. Although if you really want to hear Everlasting Love tear up the sound waves, you should find U2's version of that. Incredible song. He's got a tribute to the Thunderbirds, this really corny old TV show that I used to love. Clips from old movies like High Noon, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And a tender tribute to Matchbox Cars, which when I was his age was kind of the holy grail for me. Fortunately, Belfast has a lot more going for it than just nostalgia for a 61-year-old male. It focuses on a 9-year-old Buddy and his life in his Belfast neighborhood. So there's some school things going on. There's family conflict because Buddy's father works out of the country and is not home as often as he wants to be. There's young love because Buddy's crushing on this radiant young lady in his class at school. And all of this is set against the backdrop of what is called the Troubles. That is violent, literally explosive anti-Catholic terrorism that broke out in Belfast in that time period. As such, Belfast is kind of a perfect storm of elements that came together just to make a great film, starting with the performances. Buddy's parents are played by Katrina Balfe. Her name's not hard to say, but it's a bit tough to spell. She is best known for her role in Outlander. And Jamie Dornan, best known for his role in the 50 Shades series. They are both sensational. Young Jude Hill plays Buddy, and of course it's his first film, and he's incredibly sophisticated. Sir Ken takes a chance of having these long, sustained close-ups of Jude Hill, and you wouldn't expect that someone who is so young and so new to cinema could act with such nuance in those scenes. Belfast also stars the great Irish actor Ciarán Hinds and Dame Judi Dench as Buddy's grandparents. And as such, they foment this just beautifully winning picture of lifelong love. They're older, Pop's in poor health, but they're just crazy about each other. And that's the kind of thing you don't see in movies very often, and it really won me over. Another thing you don't see in modern movies very often is black and white cinematography, which is what Belfast has for the most part. Not only is the silver and gray and black color palette very appealing, but the frames are all composed, just beautifully composed. It's just a pleasure just to watch the film. And then Sir Ken brings in color. If there's any modern footage of Bellfast, anything on stage or anything in the movies is all in color. So color is used thematically in the film to sort of typify the hope of a future or a magic other world that clearly enchanted the young writer-director. And then there's that music. The entire soundtrack to Bellfast was written by the great, indeed legendary, Van Morrison. I think one of the few pop music figures who qualifies as a genius. He has the nickname the patron saint of Belfast, a nickname that he had long before this film came out. Now, in addition to composing and singing, Sir Van also plays the saxophone. And he plays it beautifully. No one else sounds quite like Van Morrison on the sax. And so these solos that permeate the film are so distinctive and so evocative. Van composed an original tune for the film called Down to Joy, which plays during the opening credits. And then all the other Morrison songs in the film are all older, well-established chestnuts from sometimes albums that are 10, 20, or 30 years old. But they all sound like they were written for the film. The film is edited so that these songs sort of comment on the themes and the characters and the plot. So songs like Stranded, Days Like This, and especially And the Healing Has Begun, they sound like they were just written yesterday and that they were composed for the film. This film, I think, would not be nearly so effective if it was not for Sir Van's music, and he was Oscar nominated for that original composition. Bellfast can be streamed on a number of platforms, and because it's been out for a while, the DVD is available. And some of you laugh because you say, I've got nothing to play a DVD on. But if you do, to buy the DVD is cheaper than buying the online version of the film, and plus you get all those extras like the director's commentary. So that's a worthwhile option. Now, since Branagh's screenplay is up for for an Academy Award, let's close with a few quotes from that. Now, he's Irish and so am I, so he's allowed to tease the Irish a little bit. One character says, all the Irish need is a phone, a Guinness, and the lyric sheet to Danny Boy. And she then proves this by rather drunkenly singing Danny Boy so loudly and so off-key that she has to be silenced by the people on the street. Later, as Buddy and his family are afraid they might actually have to leave Ireland because of the dangers, the same character says, it's okay because the Irish were born to leave. Otherwise, the rest of the world will have no pubs. So that's a quote you can get on board with if you're Irish. And then, as Buddy considers perhaps moving to England, he's worried that no one will be able to understand him with his heavy Irish accent. So Pop, his grandfather, says, if they can't understand you, they're not listening. And that's their problem. And that is a comment not only on Buddy's fears, but also on the inability of competing sides to listen and hear each other. If they can't understand you, they're not listening, and that's their problem. It's a very evocative line. So I hope you were understanding and listening while I praised Bellfast. I hope you will queue it up or stream it sometime soon. And I hope you will join us again in a week or two for another episode of North Central Cinema. I'm your host, Joseph W. Smith. Join us again shortly for another installment.
At UPMC, we're pioneering new ways to treat cancer, and we're working to prevent it. We're advancing new technology to look more closely at disease and helping you breathe easier. We perform the world's first heart-liver transplant, and we're experts at keeping your heart beating strong. We're a global team of more than 90,000, advancing care everywhere and delivering it closer to you. UPMC, life-changing medicine.